The Old and New Testaments are connected in more ways than you can imagine. Today we're going to take a look at an intricate icon that examines one of those connections, as we learn a little more about what's going on when we read that Moses saw a bush on fire but not being burnt. Of the many beautiful and loved icons around the Orthodox world, today we're taking a look at one of the most elaborate, known as the icon of the Unburning bush. As you can see, it is incredibly intricate. And having taken a look at that, I hope you understand that this episode can in no way come close to explaining everything that's going on in here. There are so many layers of meaning. In talking about this icon, we're going to be touching on several Bible stories that you should read in full. And there are many spiritual and theological lessons that this icon has to offer that are best explored through a life in the church. So please visit an Orthodox church, because theology isn't just about facts on paper. It's not just about the background of an image. It's not just mental studies. It is about a relationship with God and a relationship with the church and the history of Christ's work with his people. So we have to begin with the Old Testament story of the prophet Moses. He has fled Egypt for the wilderness after killing someone in Egypt, and he is living his life as a shepherd far away from his people. But everything is about to change. While out in the fields one day, he sees something unusual. A bush that is on fire, but the fire is not consuming the bush. A voice from within it calls out to him and says, "Moses, you are on holy ground." And the voice gives Moses a mission. God instructs Moses to go to Pharaoh in Egypt and to demand that he let his people go. This is a very famous scene that you may recognize from movies about the event. This event has been depicted in Christian churches since ancient times because we see it as saying something far more than just the events that Moses experiences, but more about the ministry of Christ himself. The church sees all of the scriptures and all of history itself as being intricately filled with patterns that are divinely ordered, that ultimately lead us to the foundation of all reality, and that is Jesus Christ himself. The first thing to talk about is the fact that this story is known in the Western world as the burning bush. But that is not really what's happening here. The whole point of the story is that the bush is not burning. It's on fire, yes, but it's not being burnt up. And so in the Orthodox world, we have translated the terms we've used in the East that sounds a little strange in English, and we refer to the story as that of the unburning bush, or the unburnt bush, and that's the name of the icon we're talking about today. The church sees in the tale of Moses and the unburning bush a prefiguration of something that is to come, something that has come now. It is about the incarnation of Jesus Christ in the womb of the Holy Lady, Mary. She too held within herself God and was not burnt by the glory of God. Saint John of Damascus writes about this in one of his hymns. "The shadow of the law is passed away with the coming of grace. For as the bush was not consumed when it was burning, thus as a virgin you gave birth and a virgin you remained. Instead of a pillar of fire there has risen the Son of righteousness. In the stead of Moses, Christ, the salvation of our souls." Another Orthodox hymn reads, "The miracle that Moses beheld when on Mount Sinai in the burning bush foretold of your virgin childbearing, O Mother and Theotokos." So from Mount Sinai and the monastery built there around the burning bush, there has come this icon. It has developed stylistically across the Orthodox world to be one of the most elaborate and intricate icons that we have. We're going to start on the outside and move inward into the icon. And as you can see when you look at the image, this takes us on a journey closer and closer to Christ himself through the incarnation and through the foretelling in the stories of the Old Testament. So in the four corners of the icon, we have these stories from the Old Testament that foretell of the incarnation. One corner features Moses and the burning bush, a tiny version of what the whole icon is teaching. It's the story I just told. Some icons of the unburning bush adjust this image with some elaboration, with Moses coming close to the bush to hear from the pre-incarnate word of God. Then we move across to the right. There is a scene from Isaiah. Now this may be one of two passages from Isaiah. It will either be related to verses regarding the rod of Jesse, a prophecy about Christ being born, or it will show the story of an angel purifying Isaiah by touching his mouth with a hot coal from the altar. This is symbolic of what happened to Our Lady when she became pregnant, carrying within her the fire of God. Either of those two stories from Isaiah are about Jesus becoming incarnate. We also see the story of Jacob's ladder when in his dreams he sees a passageway between earth and heaven. This too is seen as a prefiguration of Mary, with one ancient hymn calling her the heavenly ladder by which God descended. Finally, we see a passage from Ezekiel where we have another prophecy of Mary. Ezekiel sees a door that is shut and shall not be opened because the Lord God has entered by it. This closed door is also a prefiguration of Mary the ever-Virgin. The Old Testament then takes us deeper into our knowledge of Christ and brings us to 8 angels, each of these angels representing some element of the power of Christ. There is an angel of thunder, an angel of snow and hail, and often these angels are titled within the icon. These angels, with their jobs that they perform for Christ, isn't something we see or hear often in the Orthodox Church, and it is actually taken from passages in the ancient Book of Jubilees or the Book of Enoch. Going further to the center, we have 2 diamond shapes, normally of red and blue, but the blue might be green to represent the bush, and the red represents the fire. The shape is representing the shining of divine light. And that can be seen in different forms in other icons that feature the divine light, like the Transfiguration, for instance. Red and blue are also colors that we often associate in iconography with the 2 natures of Christ, that he is fully God and fully human. In the blue-green diamond, we see 4 more angels, often they're 6-winged cherubim, gathered here as around the throne of God. The red diamond holds within it the 4 gospel symbols. We already have an episode on what these mean. They are the man, the lion, the ox, and the eagle, representing Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. These represent the 4 gospel books, which point us to Christ. These 4 figures also appear in the deeply symbolic book of Revelation as being the angels around the throne of God. Another title for Mary is that she is Christ's throne. That's why they are gathered here around her. Finally, we come to the heart of the icon. In an icon that is very full and very busy and very exciting, the center of it is very peaceful. It brings the entire image into something harmonious. Much of what we see here at the center is the same as what we see in the traditional Hodegetria icon or Our Lady of the Way. Our Lady shows us the way, and that is Jesus himself. Finally, Our Lady here may also be holding a ladder, Jacob's ladder. She is calling for us to ascend from earth to heaven, a journey that now, thanks to the work of salvation carried out by her Son, we can take with him. Thank you very much for watching that episode with us, because it was a slightly daunting one to make, to be honest, because of how much is going on here. And I want to be clear, there's a lot more to find out. A lot of this episode was easier to write because I stole the research from a friend of mine who gave an hour-long talk about this icon in Melbourne. So thank you, Johnny, for giving me the notes. And his talk, was an hour long. As you can see on our channel, this video is a lot shorter, so you can understand. Our video was short, his talk was an hour long, neither of us explained everything. There is a lot more going on. Again, thank you, Johnny Rabahi, for giving me your notes. It made research a lot easier. There are a lot of stories in the Orthodox world about this icon saving a place from fire, that the fire would stop in front of this icon, things like that. And as people growing up in Australia, in a part of the country where there were regular bushfires, where we were in a drought, this icon, looking at it, was a comfort. The episode is being accompanied with a cup of tea that contains bergamot, vanilla, and elements of citrus. And it is a wonderful tea that we've had for a while. We've had it on the show before, and we're running out of it, so I'll have to get some more.